really the portal news of the day, I would say, D, is it's portal, but it's a guy that is very fresh to the college level because he really isn't even there yet. That is Jaron Keawe Sagapolutele, quarterback, top 10 quarterback in the country, signed with Oregon. Now, if you're a Ducks fan, unfortunately, this is the second occurrence of something like this. Is Dallas Wilson, 5-star receiver from Tampa area here in Florida, ends up signing with Oregon, does this, same thing pretty much here, and is now a Florida Gator. And Florida fans are very excited about him, pairing him with Vernell Brown and DJ Lagway. But this is a loss if you're Oregon, that you had to understand he probably wasn't going to start next year, but as a top 10 quarterback in the country, big arm. They also have another big-time quarterback in the class, and Keely Smith Jr. So maybe that lessens the blow here, and it makes a little bit more sense. But interesting situation here with a quarterback now back on the market who pretty much holds the power in his hands because there's only so many options right now.
Yeah, and this just broke, so we're still gathering information. But Sagapolutele, 6'2", 217 from Ua Beach, Hawaii, number 8 quarterback in the nation. He actually beat Dylan Gabriel's Hawaii record with 10,653 career yards. Some people think this guy's got the strongest arm in America. So we're talking about a guy with a lot of talent in that right arm. Oregon also signed Keely Smith's son, Keely Smith Jr. from the San Diego area. So they got a young talent who I really like. Very impressive. I honestly, both these guys thought had a lot of talent, and it seemed like it was going to be a great battle to see which one of these two physically talented guys can pick it up. Either one hits, you got a really good player with high upside there. But of course, now it's just down to Keely Smith. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Quote from On3. This is a source telling On3 about Sagapolutele. He was like, man, it wasn't for him. He feels like his heart is not there. He felt like he should have made a different decision. Now, he was committed to Cal for a long time. Georgia tried to get done on him late. He canceled 2 visits there. Those are the 2 teams that are still in the mix for him. And you see the arm strength just chucking it down the field here. Those are the 2 teams that are still in the mix for him. So you look at their quarterback situations. Georgia, I don't know how great you feel. Oh, I said a lot of power in his right arm. There's actually a lot of power in his left arm. Yeah, a lefty like Tua. But
I don't know. I think if they had a throwing contest, he might have more arm strength than Tua.
Yeah, look, he had more yards in high school. But when you talk about this guy, Georgia was a team that was in on him. Cal was in on him. Georgia, that Gunnar Stockton experiment doesn't look like it's got a lot of life in it. I mean, if you watch that game, I don't think you say Gunnar Stockton is the quarterback we place our future in. If you're Georgia, Jaden Rashada was brought in to be sort of that guy in waiting, that faded 5-star, but he doesn't look like he's climbed up the depth chart too much. They tried to get Fernando Mendoza. That didn't happen. Of course, Cal had Fernando Mendoza at the time that Jaron committed to Oregon. Now Mendoza's gone. So I wonder if he looks at those 2 situations and says, you know what? Instead of competing with Dante Moore, who looks like he's the heir apparent there at Oregon, instead of competing with Keely Smith Jr., who's a legacy with a lot of talent, man, Georgia and Cal look wide open to potentially come in there and compete. Maybe those are better options for me. I'm just speculating. But looking at those 2 quarterback situations, they look wide open. Georgia signed Ryan Montgomery this year from Ohio, a talented quarterback, but, Sagapolutele is actually rated ahead of him. So, that's certainly a competition he probably feels he can win. We'll see how this develops. But I thought this was extremely interesting. And the fact that it's happened at Oregon twice, which is really a great recruiting school with a ton of money, I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, but, this is a new era where signing day is not really signing day. And Oregon found out twice with Dallas Wilson and Jaron Sagapolutele.
And look, some people may say, yeah, he's scared of competition. There's a lot of talent over there at Oregon. In this era, man, I think it's really, if you're a player, it's all about putting yourself in the best position to get on the field. It's not necessarily scared of competition. It's just like looking at the path, right? And the Cal situation, I think, makes a lot of sense for him. Obviously, the starting position could be yours with the starter gone, but offensively, I mean, Mendoza put up good numbers there last year in terms of passing yards, so it's not like it's a stagnant offense, right? They lost some talent there in a big way. You lose a receiver to where did their top target go? Was that Ole Miss that we were talking about the other day? I forget where it was.
Yeah, no, he went to Nebraska.
Nebraska, excuse me, Nebraska. So, yeah, that's I think that's a nice fit for him.
And by the way, so there's a great point here by Zach Lesnar in the chat. Devin Brown, the Ohio State backup, who's still at Ohio State through their run here, is speculated to potentially be heading to Cal himself. He's not there yet. He is still in the he's still in the tournament. He's still providing depth for Ohio State, which is a unique situation. But there's been a lot of buzz pushing him to Cal. So is that Cal spot no longer open? Does he think he could just go in there and beat out Devin Brown? Devin Brown's not exactly, a proven starter, although he does have experience and a pedigree. So very interesting decision here. I really wonder what happened. You could say it's homesickness, but he's from Hawaii. So I don't know. Unless he goes to Hawaii, Oregon's going to be as close as it gets. So very interesting situation here for Jaron.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, like I said, I think he kind of holds the power in his hands a little bit because the market's dried up in a sense, right? So I think there's a lot of programs out there that, they're patient sometimes when it comes to the quarterback position, kind of wait for the right guy to appear, so to speak. We understand the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but in this case, the kid, it would seem like he's an intriguing option for a lot of people, and may help himself in these negotiations here in the NIL era.
Absolutely, man. And he listed the 2 schools, but maybe other schools jump in, right? Especially look at Miami, a school that they're trying to get a quarterback. Could they come back in the market? Although they do have Luke Nickel as a true freshman. Just thinking about teams that still have not filled their starting vacancy. Would Ole Miss bring him in to compete with Austin Simmons? Battle of lefties. There's different options there, but certainly Georgia and Cal are the schools he was linked to heavily before he flipped to Oregon on signing day.